Hi, I'm Beth from Restyled Pieces Boutique. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be working on this oak end table, and it is the project of indecision. So I couldn't decide what color the hardware I wanted, what hardware I wanted to keep exactly, if I got rid of the latch, what knob I wanted to. It was just a lot of indecision. And one day I was just sitting there and I went, okay, this is what I want to do. So it took a while, but I want you to watch this makeover and see if you like the choices that I made. So if you want to watch, stay tuned. So this is solid oak and it is in excellent condition, but I didn't like the latch here and I was trying to decide, should I keep it like its original state? Should I get rid of the latch? What about those decorative hinges? And I'm wanting to keep it off the floor some. So am I going to do a base? Am I going to do feet? So I don't know. There was a lot of indecision there and I still hadn't decided, but I decided to go ahead and start cleaning. I'm using my Pure Power cleaner from Farmhouse Paint. It cleans, takes off the wax and the dirt, and just gets your surface ready for sanding. And so you don't grind any of that dirt or wax into your piece, and it will help your paint stick better. I also knew that I did want to sand down this top and stain it in some color. I wasn't sure what color yet. So if you look at the bottom, I needed to add more surface area to be able to put a base or feet on it. So I measured and I'm cutting some boards, some 1x3s, I believe. Cutting some boards to put inside there so that I'll have more of a surface to attach a base or feet to. So once I get those pieces all the way around those three sides, except the front of the piece has enough area with the trim on it that I can attach a base or feet to that. So I'm gluing the back of it. I drilled some pilot holes and I'm just putting some screws in each of those boards. It was at about this point that I decided I was going to be using feet instead of a base. I just think it's a little smaller piece and I want to kind of make it more modern. So here I'm mixing up some Bondo to fill some spots in the piece. So Bondo is a 2-part epoxy putty, and you just mix it in and make it one solid color. And then I'm filling in a little bit of chipped up veneer at the bottom of or chipped up plywood at the bottom of that piece. Now I'm taking off the handle because I want to replace that with a knob, and I'll be filling those spots as well. I also like to use this Quickwood. It's a 2-part epoxy putty. And I just mix those. That has an inside color and an outside color, and then you just knead it together and mix it up. And then I like to fill hardware holes with it. It just seems to go in those holes a lot better, and I can sand that smooth and not see any of those holes. After everything is dry, I take my Surf Prep 3x4 electric ray sander, and I'm sanding those spots off. And then with about an 80 or 100 grit, when you start to sand Bondo, it gets very hard, so you need to start with that grit. But then later, I'm going to switch over to a 180 and scuff sand the entire piece. So now I've switched over to my 180, and now I'm scuff sanding the entire piece. What scuff sanding is, is you're just roughing up the surface so that it's not really slick, so that your primer and your paint will have something to grab onto, and it will stick better and adhere better to your surface. Here I've decided I want to paint all that new wood that I just put in, but I want to save that brown piece underneath that has the maker's mark. So I'm just taping that off, adding a little Scotch tape and plastic so that when I turn it over and paint all that, I won't get any spray or paint on that brown surface under there. So I use the regular flat sandpaper to scuff sand those parts of my piece that are flat, but now I'm using the squishy foamy pad abrasives to get into cracks and crevices and more rounded sections of my piece. And for the tops of my pieces, I always like to break out my Festool 5-inch orbital sander. I just feel like on a huge surface that's flat, it's easier and it takes less time to use my Festool. I started here with an 80, I believe, to get the finish off. And then I cleaned off my surface each time. I went up to a 120 and then a 150 and then a 180. And then I think I finished at a 220. Pretty sure I did. So I've got a rounded edge there. You can see it kind of rounds off on the edges. So I also use this squishy pad, and then I put my squishy pad on my Festool that gets in, that contours with those parts of the top. So it takes a little time to get down to bare wood, and of course I didn't show you every step of the way with all the pad changes. But you can see it's much lighter. I have that darker area in the middle that I had to kind of use my pad to kind of get that piece, all that finish off. Now I'm using DAP Professional wood filler, and I'm filling the dings and dents. And you can see I took that plate off at the top. That was another indecision. I couldn't decide if I wanted to keep the white clad plate that was on it. So I filled the holes in there thinking I might take that out. Now I'm just sanding all those places that I filled with quick wood or wood filler so that it can all be nice and smooth. I'm taping up the inside of the piece so that when I spray, then I don't get any spray dust or paint on the inside. And I'm using my frog tape and my Scotch tape and plastic for this as well. And we'll see in a minute that I have the door on right here, and I was thinking I was going to spray with the door on and just spray the hinges, but yeah, I kind of changed my mind on that too. So here I'm taping off the underside of the top because I'm going to be painting the body, and so I want to tape that top off. Later I'll come around and stain the top of that. And as I previously stated, you can see that I have now taken the door off because I've decided that I want to take these hinges off and I want to paint them a different color. I'm not going to leave them gold because the color that I've decided to paint the piece, I don't want it to be so bright. So I'm going to be painting it in a hammered, textured spray paint in a, I think it's burnished amber, I believe. So this is how I paint doors. I put little eye hooks on the top, and then I'm going to be hanging it from a hanger on a pole that that it's between two sawhorses. You'll see later. So here I'm making a knob hole because instead of that latch, I wanted a hole. And if you look, you can see the hinge marks. I didn't even realize when I was doing this, it was crazy, that I put it on the wrong side. I put the knob on the wrong side. I have drilled this hole on the side, the same side as the hinges, which is totally the wrong hole, location. It should be on the other side of the door. But didn't even realize it, just had that done really quickly until later. Here I'm priming with Wise Owl Stain Eliminating Primer. It's a very smooth primer. It helps with adhesion, letting your paint stick to your surface. It helps you to not have to paint so many coats. So you get a color a little closer to what you're painting. And it definitely smooths out your surface, evens out your surface so that you have a better finish. So here's my contraption I use for my to paint my doors. So I have a broken hanger that just hooks into each of those little eye hooks. And then I hang it on a pole between two sawhorses. And then I can spray the bottom. I always like to spray the bottom first because I need to grab the door and spray that part that I can't really see very well. And then I can spray both sides of the doors and let it dry and hang there. And I don't have to worry about letting one side dry and then flipping it over later to paint the other side. So I use the 3M PPS cup system with my sprayer, and this is how easily it comes off when you're finished. I take the tube off, pull that off. I open my little nozzle or knob there at the back so that I get more, so I can release the air pressure. I take the screw top off and this whole little plastic container comes out. I put my primer, what's left, back in the can, and then I just throw it away. So now the only thing I have to clean up is my spray gun and the parts that are attached to my spray gun. I'm painting. I've decided on a color. That was another indecision. So I decided I wanted to paint it in Jet Black by Wise Owl Paints. It's a beautiful, true black. And the sheen on this is a satin sheen. It turns out so pretty. And I love how the grain of the oak will show through when it's all finished. And you can see that grain through that black paint. So you can see as I'm spraying how that grain is appearing before your eyes. I love that. It just looks so beautiful. So here I'm using farmhouse paint. It's the Balm in the Clean Fresh scent, just to freshen up and moisturize that inside of the piece. Now here's the plate that I didn't know that I wanted to put on there, but I decided I did, and I sprayed all those hardware pieces, and I just love the color combination with that rustic amber. Now I'm going to be staining the top. I'm using a Fusion Stain and Finishing Oil in Walnut, and I'm just applying that to the top of my surface. I have made sure I have all the dust off. I did sand it to a 220, make sure all the dust is off, wiped it nice and clean, applied this liberally. I waited about 10 or 15 minutes, and then I'm just wiping it off with a cloth, with a shop towel. This product has resin in it. It does not need a top coat. It is very durable. I've had some pieces that I've done in this product that I've had in my home for years, and no problems, no scratches, no flaking, nothing. It's such a durable product, and it's so beautiful. All the products in my video are listed in the description below, so if you want to check those out, I have an Amazon shop, and then I've also included links for other products that are not on my Amazon shop. So we're going to stop right here. We're going to see what it looked like before. It's sitting on the floor. It has the latch, but I did add feet. That was my decision I made. I think it looks a mix of old and new, and I just love it. Thanks for being here today and watching my video. If you would like to, subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button so you'll get notifications when my videos come out. I would appreciate it. And thank you for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.